Hello, this is one of the most commonly missed questions from week number 1 in a former intermediate algebra class of mine. The directions for this problem, number 69 from section 6.2, says factor the trinomial completely. And those would be like the directions I would give you on an upcoming test, namely test number 1. And this would be a very similar question that I would ask. So the question gives us the polynomial x cubed y squared plus x squared y minus 6x. And again, factor completely. First step we have to do is see if we have a GCF, a greatest common factor. And if we do, we need to factor out and figure out what those leftovers are. And if we have leftovers, we have to then see if we can factor those leftovers any further. In this case, when I look really closely at these three terms, I see an x in the first term, I see an x in the second term, and an x in the third term. I don't see anything else that's common in all three, so the GCF for the first, the GCF for all three terms is x, which means I'll write an x here, and then I'll figure out, hey, what's left over? Well, if I pull an x out of the first, I have 3, so if I pull out 1, I'm left with 2. If I pull out an x from the second term, since I have 2, if I pull out 1, I'm left with 1. And if I pull out the x from the last term, I'm left with a minus 6. Again, that was my GCF, and I pulled that out, and what's left over is everything I get after I divide out the x, and sometimes it helps to actually divide it out. The last step is to take the leftovers and see if we can break that down even further. In other words, what are those two quantities that when I multiply them together will give me those leftovers? And in this case, there's a variety of different ways to do this. You learn the AC method, which is also called grouping, and you might have also learned the FOIL method, or what I call the guess and check method. That's actually my favorite because it's usually quicker. It's not always easier, but it's usually quicker. And what I would do, and what I hope you would do, is look at the first terms and say, what two things will multiply together gives me x squared y squared? And it's usually, in this case, x squared or a y squared. But in this case, since it's x squared y squared, we're going to say x times x is x squared, and y times y is y squared. Lastly, we switch to the opposite end, and we say, what two numbers multiplied together gives us 6? And again, it's kind of a guessing game, but we try, why not 3 and 2? Finally, to check our answers and then to figure out our signs, we do a little bit of FOIL, or checking. We take our firsts and our lasts, and we combine them together to see, will it give me the xy in the middle? And in this case, 2xy, 3xy can give me the xy in the middle if the 3 is positive and the 2 is negative. I'll let you check the L, but that indeed works, and that is our answer, but it's the process that I'm looking for. Can you get the process, and can you indeed break down the question into our final answer? I hope this helps. Have a great week.